behind, kind of like back in the day, which you'd be used to.
Yeah, pretty much. Like a little travois.
Yep. Um, Assuming you also look at the giant himself, the fur he's wearing isn't worth anything. It's not usable unless you want to make a really stinky fire. But he does have two great axes.
Mountain, I feel these are yours, your department.
One more healing word on Mountain for 7.
You look at one of the axes, you can see that there is just really lightly inscribed along the edge some sort of runes that you don't recognize.
Oh, that shit gotta be magic, yo.
Okay, well, collect everything we can use. I'll hang on to the jewelry and I'll see if it's magic later and identify it.
So we're walking along the cave, having got through the weird rooms of the Underdark. And Kuntuni says, in just a couple more steps, we'll be in the culvert where the water should be running. I don't hear any running water, so I assume no one else has fixed it yet. I don't know what to expect. Are you all ready?
Maybe we should try and approach this quietly.
That seems wise.
We don't have rain anymore, but Terps, what about you? Could your cat form take a look ahead quietly?
We can try. And she'll shift cat form and try to stealth.
So you sneak forward, and you can see a tunnel that actually goes both directions and a long way, and darkness at the end of each one. It's clearly a handmade channel. So it comes at the roughness of the tunnel ends, and there's a smooth dip down, and it looks kind of like a skate ramp, a U-pipe. With a nice smooth thing, but there's no sign of water in it. But it clearly looks like it was a channel at some point.
So move forward a little bit.
You step forward and you see some figures kind of milling around up ahead. They don't seem to have noticed your presence.
Rats?
From what you can tell, they look like very large rats. Rodents of unusual size, if you will.
She has to fight her cat spirit. We'll back up and report to everybody else.
You want to do a wisdom save to try to fight it, or are you just going to roleplay that one?
She'll start feeling herself slinking forward, giving a little butt jiggle, and she's like, do it. So when she goes back to where everybody else is, you can see that she's kind of like almost having to pull her own body.
You okay?
There's large rats. And the lion spirit really wants to eat the rats.
Maria kind of bites back a sudden sort of like giggle.
Sorry, she's kind of fixated on the rats right now.
What, are they doing anything?
They're sitting there.
Well, on the one hand, if they're not any hindrance to what we have to do, then we shouldn't bother with them. On the other hand, it wouldn't be good to have them come up at us from behind while we're trying to fix this thing. So maybe we should just get rid of them.
Kuntuni says, when you step out into the culvert, which direction were they?
She'll convey that to everybody and over to the right of the way that she entered.
Alright, Kuntuni will say, well then our route will be towards the rats.
Rats is pretty smart. If you see a bunch of them here, that means they got food and they got water.
Well, good. Maybe if they're the cause, well, I don't see how they would be the cause of the water being stopped up, but...
It could be a symptom. Maybe there's something hiding here. Bet yourself a grotto or something. Rocks maybe cut it off.
Indeed.
Terps, were the rats grouped up together, or were they spaced out?
They were scavenging around. They weren't coordinated.
Yeah, but were they? What was it, like a small area that they were moving around in?
The ones that I can see, yeah. There may have been more.
Okay,
it was hard enough for me to keep the cat spirit from trying to pounce on them.
Fair enough. Well, Maria, maybe you and Jim could take out a bunch of them together. Jim? Oh, damn it. He's gone.
And you say this happens to you
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time, does it?
Yeah, pretty much at random.
Huh.
Oh, man.
Oh, what would a wizard get up to in a place like Florida?
Honestly, he wouldn't really stick out. Man, I could try setting rats on fire.
I could pounce on them. No, I'm fine.
I mean, how big were those rats? And how many of them?
Enough to make a good meal. And she just kind of looks at herself and sighs.
Like, she's like, rats.
The tail keeps twitching.
I don't suppose any of them seem to be speaking any language. We probably can't ask them anything. But If you were to conjure a fire, Maria, that might send them scattering, make it easier for us to pick them off, and Terps could just go to town on them. So why don't we do that?
What do you think, Lady V?
He kind of shrugs and is just looking around the tunnel. Then sighs. Usually fire does scare them, but depending on your rat, some want to fight, so either way, be prepared.
So, well, actually, how wide is the tunnel? The tunnel, just like the 5 foot?
It's pretty wide. Very smooth. Looks like water flows through it normally or something, because it usually takes something like water to grind something that smooth. Well, in my world, it takes water flowing for long periods of time to carve something that smooth. It's apparently different in this world.
A little bit. If it's man-made, then yeah. People would be chipping away at it.
The culvert would be something that was made by the hands of... Well, it depends on which culvert it is. This one, I believe, was made by my people.
Well, let's, guess we get moving?
Yeah, let's do this.
Alright, so you follow the tunnel in, and soon enough you come to the culvert.
All your life you have been beaten, bullied, and abused. Years you have spent at the mercy of someone larger or stronger. Aren't you tired of having no recourse? No way to fight back? Aren't you tired of being a victim? Well, no more. Today is the day you shall take your stand. Come to Sunder Swords and Spells to learn all you need to put those bullies in their places. Want to thwap those jerks with a sword? With world-famous Swordmaster Ba'ai guarding your steps, you will be lunging and fainting in no time. Is dropping meteors on their heads more your style? Join reclusive Magister Canny to connect to the powers of the cosmos. When you train with us, we guarantee results. Whether magical or mundane, we have you covered at Sunder Swords and Spells.
Oh, it's this one. It's like going up this way?
Yeah. Back the other way is going off the map to the bottom of the map here. It just continues into darkness that way, but Kuntuni walks in and immediately turns right. I can see I can see the rats, and beyond them there appears to be rocks and debris, so I imagine that there is a break in the wall up there. That is probably where whatever this incursion is begins.
Could be a nest.
Because dark elves have 120-foot dark vision, so she can see up that far.
Alright, well, Maria V, you've both got fire, so go ahead and do your thing. Terps, get ready to have a good time. Kuntuni, do you have any fire in that staff of yours?
I do, but we won't need it for these. This should be very quick. Unless there's hundreds of them.
Alright. Let's do it.
Do I need to roll stealth again?
No, well, unless you guys are all trying to be stealthy going forward, then yes.
Well, cat spirit is.
Maria's gonna try to slither slowly.
Alright. You're going to try to sneak up, then go ahead and roll stealth before you go any further there, Terps.
So roll stealth.
Anyone who's trying to be stealthy.
I guess, yeah, if everybody else will be stealthy, then I guess will give it a try as well.
As you
Thanks.
slither forward, you hear squeak, and all the rats that you can see coming forward turn and look in your way because they rolled a natural 20 on their perception.
They didn't see any Turks.
They see everyone. What do you guys want to do?
Her butt jiggles and her tail slashes.
Alright, open fire. Literally.
V is going to do a quick cantrip and she's going to do produce flame, but she will not throw it this round.
And Maria's gonna slither up behind Terps a little bit and just lob out a bonfire.
Alright, so bonfire on this one here. Hey, you rolled a natural 1. Roll damage. Alright, you hear as fire bursts up. It's actually in a cube, not a circle. I keep forgetting that. Engulfing the rat, and you hear it go. And even from there, you can smell the cooking flesh and burning, dirty fur.
All right, Yuna just moved up, so she's going to use Sacred Flame, and she's gonna use it on the same one that's in Maria's fire.
All right. That is an 8, 9, 10. It hits. And for 1 damage?
1 radiant, yeah.
All right. So the fire rat that's on fire, the bright light of the radiant damage comes down on it, smacks it, and it stops moving.
She's going to literally charge like a centaur, only as a cat, and it's going to be a pounce, so she'll be using her claws.
That hits. So you crouch down, your butt waggles, your tail flaps, and then you just charge forward and you just and just shred the thing in one fell pounce. Kuntuni will point her finger and say under her breath, Mishutu tumyok. And a splash of fire will burst out from her finger and hit the last rat for... The fire flashes across, kind of brightening everything for a moment, and the fire smacks into the last rat, and it goes... It's kind of thrown back a little bit, and then ends up on its back with its legs just kind of twitching. And its fur still a little on fire.
Wow, Terps gets roast rat.
Is that all of them?
As far as you can tell.
Maria's gonna wiggle forward a bit.
Yuna's gonna go over here. Oh wait, there's more. Okay, looks like it's curving around to the right over here.
Kuntuni nods and says, yes. And you look at it and you can see where it was a smooth wall, handmade, maybe not man-made, this whole culvert. It's smooth along the roof and along the walls, and then comes down, and it's a dip in this half pipe, and then back up. So it's a very smoothly made tunnel all the way around, and something has hacked a hole into the side of it, and a tunnel leads off and away. And Kuntuni nods and says, this must be whatever it is that has stopped up the water. This must be how they got in or where they went. We should follow that.
I was going to say, before they do anything, can I roll for investigation and see if I can find any extra information, like if it is for exit, for entrance, or anything like that?
You can roll a nature check.
Okay. Well, 15, that's 18.
This doesn't look like it was made by tools. It looks like it was kind of hewn out by probably some creature. You can't really tell if it's entry or exit or when it was originally made, except that you note that, the rubble is kind of on both sides of the entrance. So it's hard to say. It's probably being used at this point. You can't tell exactly how long it's been there, but it's probably being used for both at this point. With that roll, though, you can kind of get a whiff of, mustiness.
Like a damp?
Yeah, sort of a damp mustiness, vaguely, faintly. Not moldy exactly, but, sort of maybe a boggy sort of smell.
Okay.
Terps, are you eating that rat?
That's a good question. How big is the rat compared to her?
Well, you're bigger because you're huge, but it's a giant rat. They're what, like 3 feet or something like that?
So it's too big for her to carry around in her jaws?
Well, you could drag it, like, between your legs.
I can see Terp trying to cart it away like cats do sometimes.
Well, I was just thinking if it was small enough for her to carry in her jaws, she'd definitely be carrying it, but,
It'd be
cats also, they'll kill it and then just drop it and leave it, and, they're bored with it, so.
It'd be one of those things where it's big enough for you to pick up in your jaws, but it would be dragging the ground kind of between your front legs as you walk.
Okay, she'll probably be on all fours doing that at this point. Dragging her kill off.
Right.
Oh, she will have her jaws locked around its neck and be dragging it, dragging her kill.
You good, Terps? You sure you should eat that?
Terps' tail just slashes.
Alright. Just, maybe we should stock up on some ginger ale or something in a few hours.
V just kind of mutters, well, let's hope it's less alligator than anything. V comes over to Katuni and stands right next to her and speaks up, saying, I don't trust this. It wasn't man-made. Something instead of someone carved this.
I concur. And that something is probably what has stopped up the water. She points up the way, and now you can barely see, even though the map ends here, probably another 30 or 40 feet up the way, there's just a huge pile of boulders and rubble that's just blocking up the cistern. Whatever it is, I bet is on the other side of this tunnel. We get rid of it, we free the water.
Yuna's gonna step into the tunnel and make an investigation check to see if there is anything in the tunnel that would give away what this thing is, like tracks or claw marks or something.
Are you just going to walk in? Is she stealthing in? What's she doing?
She just took another step or two in there.
So you step in, move to where you're stepping.
She did already.
Well, from there, you can kind of see, you can see the wall going across, but it's hard to tell anything else. But you can see the wall extends up and then appears to turn a bit, about 40 feet in. You don't really notice anything else. You do notice, again, stronger than V even noticed, there's a musty sort of wet smell.
What does the ground look? What does the ground look like?
The ground there is just a cave floor. It's just packed dirt.
Well, this green floor in the tunnel itself.
Yeah, that's just packed dirt. That's what the map looked like. So.
All right, she'll take another step.
And then you hear a sudden, tremendously loud shriek that just echoes through all the caves. And Kuntuni swears and jumps up. Ah, Shrieker.
You know this thing?
Well, yes. I should have known. I should have told you to be try to be quiet. And you can barely hear her because this thing is loud. She points a finger and says,
Yuna's gonna step off of the tunnel floor.
13.
And she'll gesture to Kuntuni to come back.
Kuntuni is busy pointing her finger and shooting flame at the Shrieker. And then it suddenly goes quiet. And then there's blessed silence. Especially to your poor large ears.
Wow,
Do those tend to come in packs?
Well, it depends upon if someone has put them there on purpose or if it's just a natural growth. Hard to say. What isn't hard to say is whatever it is that is holding back the water now knows we're here.
Well, at least we got that taken care of.
Maybe they'll just think it's a rat.
I highly doubt it, seeing as it was so close to the rats and, well, we didn't hear it.
Well, they only do that when you get within range of it. We were on the other side of the wall before.
So should we even bother with the element of surprise at this point, or just keep going?
Well, we can hope for the best.
Wait. V holds up her hands and motions towards the tunnel with as much as she can see, and looks back to the group. If we take that down and it releases the water as you're requesting, how are we going to survive that exactly? Is it going to come trickling in, or is it going to be a rushing geyser? How are you going to be alive?
Well, I imagine with the water dammed up like that, once we release the dam, the water will go away from wherever it's stored right now, which is probably where we'll be, so we should be safe.
So it won't come down this path that we're on right now?
It'll come down the path everyone else is on, but we won't be there. We'll be down this tunnel.
I have a bad feeling about that.
Probably right.
Well, there's a difference between getting rid of these creatures and getting rid of the blockage. So we're gonna have to see whatever it is that lies ahead, and then we'll have to determine how we can unblock the water without getting swept up in it and drowned in the process.
Well, I know for certain that I won't, because Thena's no lungs once more. But it's more the concern of you.
Well, that much water, if it gets into your systems, may cause things to short circuit.
Fritz will drop the rat long enough to look up, kind of lick her lips and look at V and go. And I imagine it's going to be like when the ice breaks and the water flows rapidly, no matter how big you are, even members get knocked over and crushed.
Yeah. Well, we need to go down this tunnel, but let's keep a sharp eye on our surroundings and try not to accidentally burst the whole thing open when we're not in a safe position yet. Continue, you know these creatures, we don't, so why don't you take the lead?
She looks back and then shrugs and says, "Very well." And she will try to be stealthy, not her strongest suit.
Yuna's gonna follow right behind.
Actually does pretty good. She peeks around the corner, kind of swears under her breath, and then points her finger around the corner without putting her body around, and once again says, "Mishu tu myuk." And fire lances out from her finger, and she swears.
Was it another one?
Yes, that didn't quite kill it.
Yoink.
Is it just one?
And then it starts screeching because it's been attacked. And she swears and tries again. So the second shrieker starts shrieking again, and she shoots it a second time, and it goes silent. She glares at it. She sneaks forward some more. Then up ahead, as you go around this corner, you can see sort of a faint greenish blue light. Terps is dragging the rat, so it's kind of keeping her a little bit noisy. And Kunchuni is trying to be quiet as well, but she's just not a very quiet thing, and her robes are kind of going, they sound kind of like corduroy pants. Nevertheless, you walk forward, and the tunnel opens. And you step out into the tunnel, and the ground immediately becomes much more marshy, and everyone can smell, well, it smells like a marsh. And the ground is soft beneath your feet, and the tunnels widen and then opens up into a large cave.